Hello and welcome to your Astrological Vibrations for Thursday, March 14th, 2019 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is understanding keeps me balanced and in the flow. And oh my gosh, what is going on with technology? Well, it is Mercury retrograde. So yesterday when I was uploading my video, I tried to upload it 5 times and it didn't work, and then finally a few hours later it finally worked, and then all day Wednesday, which is when I'm recording this, Instagram and Facebook were down and out, and people were like, oh my gosh, what's going on? This is Mercury retrograde. These are things that can happen during Mercury retrograde. It doesn't always happen, but it can happen. And I really think the best thing to do when technology starts acting wonky during Mercury retrograde is sit back and be like, all right, it's a lesson in patience. It's a lesson in divine delay. And I swear Mercury loves mischief. I felt very amused today because I felt Mercury like sitting back and be like, look at the havoc. Yay, chaos, mischief, and we all have that part within ourselves that enjoys a good joke, a good little bit of mischief, and hopefully nobody was hurt by any of this mischief. Maybe some impatience and some WTFing, but mostly it was like, okay, fine, no Facebook for a day. So just realize, as we continue through this retrograde, this could happen. And today, Mercury itself is very connected to the astro. We actually have the sun and Mercury coming together today. So if you take my astro class that I am going to be giving, one of the things I will tell you is anytime planets come together, they enhance each other. So as the sun, which lights up anything, as the sun connects to Mercury retrograde, this can highlight Mercury's retrograde attitude. So this may have been part of what's been going on. It could be solar storms. It could be the mutable cross. It also could be Uranus, which is also highly electrical. There's so many different things that can come into play. But again, it's always about, well, what's our lesson in this? Well, your lesson in this is learning patience. Now, as the sun and Mercury come together, this is 24 degrees. 24 degrees is the degree of balance. So watch for what is throwing you off balance and see where you can bring understanding. See where you can bring patience. One of the things with Pisces energy is surrender to the unknown. Can you be okay with the understanding that some things are unknown and you are being guided moment by moment through whatever this quest is for you at this time? That will hopefully bring you back into balance. The unknown comes, the unknown goes, we find out what it's about, and we start our next journey. It's part of the ongoing cycle. So just keep that awareness. Also keep the awareness as Mercury is connecting to the sun and to the moon today, and is in close proximity to Jupiter, a square with Jupiter as well, that there may be more Mercury snafus, more technology snafus, more communication snafus. Realize that through the day. Be prepared. Give yourself extra time and take it with a grain of salt. Mercury. Haha, yes. So that being said, we have the moon in Gemini. The moon in Gemini is another thing. Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury. So with the moon in Gemini, it's just highlighting the mischief. It's adding an emotional element to the mischief. So moon is finishing up in Gemini today. The moon is going to oppose Jupiter. So we have a little bit of push and pull. Again, I would say your best bet with this energy is to not let it aggravate you and see if it can make you laugh, because often that's the best bet for any of this. So if you feel any of that pull, tug of war going on, how can you laugh? How can you take the Jupiter energy and see from a higher perspective what's going on rather than caught up in the minutia, like the details and things aren't working out. Everything always does work out. One of the things I was thinking about with all of this is, how many times because of divine delay, because something's happened, that it's saved you in one way or another. And there are minor stories about this, and there are more extreme stories about this, you know? And I've had it happen multiple times in my life where I've been irritated about being delayed, and then later, like, it even has maybe potentially saved my life, you know? So take it with a grain of salt if you feel that. Don't get too caught up in the details. See if you can see from the higher perspective, moment by moment. Now, speaking of impatience, we have Mars, which is in Taurus. And Mars in Taurus can be like, all right, I'm okay with this moment by moment stuff. Mars in Taurus is connecting to Saturn. We have a trine. So Saturn in Capricorn feels the mission, and it wants to get moving on the mission. And so that could instigate Mars energy. My feeling is with this is if you feel that energy within you, do it for the love. Do it because you love something. Do it because it calls you. Do it because you can't not, if you know what I mean. Don't do it because shoulds are raining down on you. Don't do it because you feel that you have to. Do it for the love is the energy that I get with that. All right, so next up we have the Sun square the Moon and Moon square Mercury energy. Okay, so Sun in Pisces, Moon in Gemini, Mercury in Pisces. It is this Pisces Mercury energy, these squares, resistance energy. So when we're feeling these squares, we've got, using pictures, we've got spirit guiding us. Oh, look at that light. We've got spirit guiding us, and yet the monkey mind wants to know and it wants to understand. Like I said, your understanding will come. It's just moment to moment right now. I think that's the best thing I can give you for the day is don't get caught up in the minutia. Don't get caught up in the details. Cross your T's, dot your I's, take care of what you can, but realize that there is a higher spiritual force that is guiding us through this. Now, that being said as well, things may be coming up. This is part of Mercury retrograde. It's bringing up past karma. It's bringing up past life stuff. It's bringing up stuff that needs to be processed, known or unknown. You know, sometimes it's like, I have a feeling and I don't know where it's coming from, but I'm just feeling the feeling. And other times it's like, I'm feeling the feeling and it is connected to this ghost of my past, and this is what I'm going to do to process it. Wherever you are at in that process is all good. Be with the process. Don't get too caught up in the details. The biggest detail is, what is your lesson through it? How are you meant to move through it? What is the energy? What is the core of light that is pulling you through that? And let that help move you and help you keep balanced. So we then have the moon shifting into Cancer. Moon will shift into Cancer at 2:49 p.m. Pacific time. Moon shift into Cancer can up the feels. Moon in Cancer is full of the feels. So we've got that. It may hopefully take down some of the Mercury mischief a little bit, although that may be still ongoing until the Sun and Mercury do connect at 6:47 p.m. and a little bit after that until it moves on a little bit. But just realize the feels are on the rise. We've got the rising tides of feels coming in with Moon in Cancer. Take care of yourself. Moon in Cancer is a call to nurture yourself. It is reminding us of the North Node, which is in Cancer, which is reminding us to nurture ourselves through all of these things that are coming up. And I do want to remind you, Pluto and the South Node are like, you know, they're within 2 degrees of each other. So they're like, hey, what information do you have for me for this transformation energy? Nurturing is your way through. Getting past the shoulds into what do I need and how do I show up for myself is your way through. Now, this may be uncomfortable. There may be a bit of transformation in it. The first connection the moon is actually making is with Uranus, and then the second connection the moon makes is with Chiron. So that first connection with Uranus, it's like you've got to change things up. Do you know your worth? Are you acting according to your worth? Chiron is, are you being true to yourself? Both of these things may have a little rub. Both of these things may have a little transformation and may be the opposite of what you've done in the past, but there's an opportunity. Again, moment to moment. What do you need? How do you move yourself through this? So, then the final aspect of the day is the Sun conjunct Mercury. And like I said, that will just heighten the Mercury energy. Good or bad, I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see what technology does. My feeling is that YouTube and Instagram and Facebook are probably fine after all this. Oh, please, technology, don't let me down. It may be, activating things on my phone. It may be more home technology that goes on the flare up, or it may be communications, or it may be nothing, and maybe your mind is just activated, or maybe your mind is just peaceful. There's so many ways that these things can happen. Just be aware. So that being said, I am gearing up for this class. I really want to do it. I really want to know the people who are very serious about it. What I'm thinking is probably twice a month that we will meet for a year. So it is a year-long commitment. True commitment. So if you are interested, reach out to me. I'm going to be setting up a little group to set up some details and get it started. So yes, emailing me or messaging me on Facebook are two of the best ways to reach me. You can always book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Join my Patreon. Thank you. I have been receiving some donations and I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Thank you. And besides that, you have the power. The better it gets, the better it gets. And there is more than enough love. Whatever that means for you, there is more than enough of it in the world for you. Namaste.